I don't know, Aaron said. I feel a little weird and dizzy. Maybe you need food, Cal said, stretching. Aaron grinned as Jasper and Tara climbed out of the car. Food does sound good. Stay here, boy, Cal said to Havoc, scratching around his ears. No barking. I'll get you a sandwich. He left the car window cranked open in case Havoc needed fresh air. He hoped nobody tried to steal the car, mostly for the thief's sake. No regular person, not even a car thief, was prepared for a surprised, face full of angry, chaos-ridden wolf. The street had few other shops, including a used clothing store that Tamara pointed to with great enthusiasm. Perfect, she said. We can pick up some new clothes. Aaron, if you don't feel up to it, I'll be fine, he said. He still looked exhausted, but managed to grin anyway. No amount of clothing is going to make that car of yours stand out less, said Jasper, who knew how to bring down any mood. We can buy it a scarf, Cal told him. The store was full of racks of used and vintage clothes, and all sorts of second-hand knickknacks that Cal recognized from his dad's forays into antique fairs and junk shops. 3 Singer sewing machine stands had been turned into a counter. Behind it sat a woman with short white hair and purple cat-eye glasses. She glanced up at them. What happened to you four? She asked, eyebrows going up. Mudslide? Aaron said, although he didn't sound very certain. She winced as though she either didn't believe him or she was generally disgusted with them in her store, tracking mud and touching things with sooty fingers. Maybe both. It didn't take too long for Cal to find the perfect outfit, though. Jeans like the kind he'd worn back home, and a navy blue t-shirt proclaiming, I don't believe in magic, with a squashed fairy in the lower right-hand corner. Aaron started laughing when he saw it. There's something seriously wrong with you, he said. Well, you look like you're on your way to yoga class, Cal said. Aaron had picked out gray sweatpants and a shirt with a yin-yang symbol on it. Tamara had found black jeans and wore a big silky tunic that might have been a dress over it. Jasper had somehow discovered khakis, a blazer in his size, and mirrored sunglasses. The total for the clothes came to about $20, which had Tamara frowning thoughtfully and counting out loud. Jasper leaned past her and gave the cat-eye glasses lady his most charming smile. Hey, can you tell us where we could get sandwiches? He asked. And internet? Bits and Bytes, 2 blocks down Main, she said, and pointed at their heap of discarded, muddy green uniforms. I'm guessing I can toss these? What kind of clothes are they anyway? Cal gave the clothes an almost regretful look. Their uniforms branded them as magisterium school students. Without them, all they had were their wristbands. Karate uniforms, he said. That's how we got dirty. Karate chopping ninjas. In a mudslide, Aaron interjected, sticking to his story. Tamara dragged them out of the store by the backs of their shirts. Main Street was mostly deserted. A few cars drove up and down, but nobody gave them a second look. Karate chopping ninjas in a mudslide? Tamara gave Aaron and Cal a dark look. Could you guys try to lay low? She stopped in front of an ATM. I've got to get some money out. Speaking of lying low, I heard they can trace your ATM card, said Jasper. You know, using the internet? Cal wondered if he'd thrown away his phone for nothing. The police can, said Aaron, not the magisterium. How do you know? Well, we have to risk it, said Tamara. That was all the rest of our cash, that $20, and we're going to need more gas and food. Still, her hand shook a little as she took out the money and stuffed it in her wallet. Bits and Bytes turned out to be a sandwich shop with a row of computers where you could rent internet time, $1 an hour. Aaron went to buy sandwiches while Cal logged in. He typed latitude and longitude into Google, which took him to a page that calculated both from an address. He pressed the reverse lookup button and entered the numbers he had. Then he held his breath. The map showed a location quickly enough, although there was no address associated with it, just the words, Monument Island, Harpswell, Maine. According to the map, there are no roads on it and no houses. He doubted there was a ferry either. Even worse, when he typed in the directions, the computer said it would take 15 hours to drive there. 15 hours? Aunt Alistair had a head start. What if he was already there? What if he'd taken a plane? For a moment, terrible panic overwhelmed Cal. The screen in front of him flickered. The light shuddered. Jasper looked in Cal's direction, sneering. Maybe someone went through the gated control too soon, he said under his breath. Easy. Aaron put a hand on Cal's shoulder, steadying him. Cal stood up abruptly, fighting for breath. I've got to. You've got to what? Aaron looked at him strangely. Print, Cal said. I've got to print. The directions. He staggered over to the register. Do you guys have a printer? The girl behind the counter nodded. $3 a page, though. Cal glanced at Tamara. Can we? She sighed. It's a necessary expense. Go ahead. Cal sent the directions to print. Now all three of them were looking at him strangely. Is something wrong? Aaron said. It's in Maine, Cal said. 15 hours away by car. Aaron looked up from his ham and provolone sandwich with a shocked expression. Seriously? Could have been worse, Jasper said, surprised at Cal. Could have been Alaska. Tamara glanced around and then back at Cal. Her brown eyes were very serious. You sure you want to do this? I'm sure I have to, he said. She took a bite out of her sandwich. Well, eat up, everyone, she said. I guess we're going on a road trip to Maine. After lunch, they got back to the car, dumping their backpacks in the back. Cal walked Havoc and fed him 2 roast beef sandwiches and then tipped a bottle of water so he could lap at it. The Chaos-ridden wolf ate and drank with surprising daintiness. Cal drove, with Tamara acting as co-pilot, while Jasper and Aaron pillowed their heads on Havoc's furry back and napped. Jasper must have been pretty exhausted to dying to sleep on a Chaos-ridden animal. Hours passed like this. You know, you can get arrested for going under the speed limit too, said Tamara, her warm ginger ale in the cup holder beside her. She was unbraiding her hair, brushing it out as it blew around with the breeze of her open window. Tamara almost always kept her hair in braids, and Cal was surprised by how long it was unbraided, black and shiny, and hanging to her waist. Cal pressed his foot harder on the gas, and the Morris lurched forward. As the speedometer needle started to edge up, the car began to shudder. Tamara said. Maybe we should take a chance on the cops. He gave her a quick smile. Do you really think the Magisterium sent that monster after us? I don't think Master Rufus would, Tamara said, hesitating. When she spoke again, the words came out in a rush. But I'm not sure about anyone else. It just doesn't make sense to me. Cal, if there's something you knew, you'd tell us, right? What do you mean? Nothing, she said, her fingers nimbly working her hair back into a single long braid. Cal focused on the road, on the blur of lines, and keeping his distance from other cars. What's the next exit? He asked her. We need gas. Cal, Tamara said again. Now she was playing with her wristband. He wished she'd stop fidgeting. You know, if there was something you wanted to tell me that was a secret, I'd keep it. I wouldn't tell anyone. Like you did tell anyone about my dad? Cal said, immediately regretting it. Tamara's eyes went wide and then angry. You know why I did that, she said. He tried to steal the Alcahest. He was putting Aaron in danger, and things turned out even worse than we thought. He didn't have good intentions. Not everything is about Aaron, Cal said, which made him feel more terrible. It wasn't Aaron's fault. He was who he was. Cal was just glad Aaron was asleep again, his blonde hair resting on Havoc's fur. Then what is this about, Cal? Tamara said. Because I have a feeling you know. Words felt like they're clawing their way up Cal's throat. He didn't know if he wanted to yell at Tamara or spill everything just for the relief and not keeping it bottled up anymore. When suddenly the car started shaking hard. Cal, slow down, Tamara said. I am slowed down, he protested. Maybe I should pull over. Suddenly, and without warning, Master Rufus appeared, popping into existence between Cal and Tamara in the front seat of the car. Students, he said, looking very displeased, would you like to explain yourselves? And we'll stop right there.